सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Should I read this or not? Oh, it's in the back. Okay, yes, yeah. Because it was cut up. So, I always shuffle because so that people can't complain that the last minute gate crashers are right on the top. Okay. Detachment in action. I'm conflicted over overcoming 100% owning a task versus detachment pertaining to that action. There is no detachment. Because detachment, the word detachment I never use actually, if you have observed. Because the detachment assumes, the word detachment when you use, assumes that there was attachment and then there is detachment. Atma is ever asanga, never detached, never attached. So the question of detaching doesn't arise. We can say dispassion, vairagya in action. Or we can say asangatvam in action, which means uninvolvement in action. So, the confusion appears to be 100% owning a task versus feeling like one is uninvolved in that action. Yeah, that is, you have said it exactly. There is no confusion. That is what it should be. On the level of the everyday, you own up the task, you participate fully, but then you know that there is the sakshin, the observer, who is not affected by the outcome or by how the task is going. Why not? Simply because the observer is very close to the nature of the Atma, and the task, in relationship to the task, the observer is playing a role. Role, is it just a role? Mother, role. Father, role. Employer-employee, role. So if somebody gets bashed up while performing the task, it's the role that is getting bashed up, not the person. It's the famous example of Pujya Swamiji, beggar and actor. A highly paid actor in Hollywood is been cast in a new film in the role of a begging person. Cries without the need for any artificial tears. Gets into the role, cries, give me this, give me some handout. I'm hungry, haven't eaten for 10 days. Cries, 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 cries. Then what happens? After the cry, as the person is crying, what happens? The person knows full well, I'm not a beggar. In fact, my bank account is getting fatter as a result of this. And maybe I'll even get an Oscar. I'll be nominated for a prize as a result of this role. So, the role, see, the beggar is actor. Actor is not beggar. Similarly, the role is nothing but the person. The person is not the role. The problem comes when the person gets rolled up into the role. Then we have a problem. When you take it seriously, there is identification with the role. And so first we have to familiarize ourselves with the Sakshi. Get comfortable living in the skin of the Sakshi. Living in the skin of the Sakshi, I am totally comfortable, and then as a result I am free. I have come to know of my identity from being the one caught up in all the roles. I have come to know of my identity as the observer. This is the identity. Okay? So, that is something that is made comfortable through meditation, etc. That is part of it. Another thing is that I have to have something to connect to. Sakshi is Ishvara, but that is yet to be known, or I am in the process of knowing it through Vedanta. In the meantime, as the questioner says, on the Vyavaharika level, I have to know, I have to have a connection. And the connection is with Ishvara as what? Bhakta, devotee. That I get comfortable with, because Sakshi might be a little more amorphous, hard to connect to. And so I get into the role of the Bhakta. That is my identity. And so I get comfortable in that identity. I claim the Bhakta as the devotee as the identity, and the Bhakta becomes a son-daughter, devotee son, devotee daughter, devotee spouse, devotee friend, devotee employer, devotee employee, devotee mother, devotee father. And there is no confusion. I go back to the place of devotee. And so Sakshi, devotee, then the truth of the devotee is Sakshi. If you can connect with the Sakshi straight away, please do that. Otherwise, if you can connect with the devotee, and if you mint your new identity as the devotee for now, then connect with the devotee, and then the roles will not roll into the person. The sorrow belongs to the role, the conflict belongs to the role, the heartache belongs to the role. Just like Rama, inwardly free, but hugged every tree and cried, "Have you seen my Sita?" First tree hugger in history. So he was playing a role, and he knew that he was playing a role. This is what one has to do. So that separation must be there, and sometimes it is obfuscated because of the flow of the outburst of the emotions and the difficulty or the challenge there. But slowly we come back to that. You have to come back to hold on to something that is dhrida. And that is why devotee, whose object of devotion is Bhagavan. So you hold on to Bhagavan via the role of the devotee, and then all roles subserve that of the devotee. Meditation should be done in solitude. Do the meditation sessions here preparation for meditation? Yes, that's the idea. Some training is given, and then with the help of the training, you become equipped to meditate. In group also, when you meditate, it is solitude only, really. You're not thinking about the other person. Unless they are snoring, then you have to think about them. It happens in long-term courses. 8-week course, yes, something like that, it will happen. Because the mind is confused. The mind thinks, okay, the senses are withdrawing and the eyes are closing and there is no other sound. This fellow is getting ready to sleep. That's what the mind thinks. And oh, this person is sitting up and sleeping. Okay, I'll cooperate, no problem. So, in solitude is better because generally people tend to worry about other people. Why are they restless? Why are they moving? So there is a lot of distraction. Solitude is better. And yes, here we do it in group because we can, and because there is also some synergy in doing it in group, especially in the beginning. Because what does one want to do? Get up, run and go away. And why is the person continuing to sit? Because the other 20 people are sitting. So that's why I also sit. So that way it is a preparation. How to deal with sadness? Sadness in meditation or out of meditation? It doesn't matter because it's the same. So the sadness, you just watch it. Give it a hug. Sakshi bhava. Watch it. Know that it is not connected to the present. First 2-3 things you have to be sure to understand. A, any sadness that comes up is not at all connected to the present situation, person, circumstance, event, object or thing. Even though it's tempting to say, because of you I am sad, that's not true. Not true at all. Oh, but really, after I saw this person, I became sad. The person is at best a nimitta. Means, in this case, it means a trigger. The person has triggered the sadness that is already there. It's like the strings of a veena or any string instrument. You go like this, you pluck one string, and because of the reverberation, the other strings are also humming. That's what it is. It's just a trigger. People are triggers because that's how memory works. People are very trigger magnet people are. And then places are triggers sometimes. Food items sometimes are a trigger. So many things can be triggers. So if we are able to see these things as triggers, then already half the battle is won. Because they are all triggers. And being triggers, they have been externalized. And I own up the sadness, that's half the battle won. I say, okay, this is coming from something in the subconscious, unconscious mind. No need to go deep and say which memory is it and all that. No. This is what the grand guru of Adi Shankara says. Who is that? Gauda Padacharya. Sakashayam vijaniyat. Know the mind to be along with the unconscious, which is the factory of sorrow and fear. Fear factory and sorrow factory. Nicely packaged sorrow of various sizes, shapes. Small, medium, large. It manufactures. The unconscious mind is the storehouse, warehouse of all sizes of sorrow. Kashayena saha vartate. Kashaya means some kind of painful memories. Sludge, literally it means. Sampraptva na vichalayet. Do not stir it. Try to go to the bottom of it. Nissango prajnaya bhavet. You give up the ownership of sorrow by watching it. Through the wisdom gained through Vedanta, one learns to watch the sorrow and do a selective disowning of the sorrow. The operative word is selective. Because if you keep saying this sorrow is not mine, one is in a state of denial. Sorrow is Atma. Atma is not sorrow. That is where one has to go. That is the selective distancing. Sorrow is included. Everything is Atma. Sorrow is not separate from Atma, but Atma is not of the nature of sorrow. This way, slowly one works. You can write it out, you can talk it out. Therapy helps, writing helps. Outlet of some kind is needed to resolve that. It helps. And if there is a chemical imbalance, because Vedanta doesn't talk about any kind of chemical imbalance, etc., that it leaves to the Vaidyas, the experts, the doctors and medical professionals. So if there is a chemical imbalance, it has to be treated. But if it is some kind of garden variety sorrow, that you can manage on your own. From the perspective of the empirical reality, Vyavaharika Satta, do I contribute to the results of action as Karta? But from Paramarthika, the I do not, because Karta has resolved into Brahman. Yes. So, from the standpoint of the everyday reality, then the results of action, I relate to the results of action as Karta, but that is only for a person who is unschooled in Karma Yoga. When we talk about Karma Yoga, that is not being practiced on the Paramarthika level, on the absolute level. It is being practiced on the everyday level. So you do not relate to either the action or the results of action as a doer. That is what causes entrapment. Right now you give up doership. You don't have to wait. Oh, when the knowledge dawns, then I can give up the doership. Right now let me cling on to the doership. No such thing is possible or even needed. So the doership is given up. How is it given up? It is given to Ishvara to hold. Just like when you are carrying a lot of parcels and bags and everything, a friend is walking with you and you say, can you please hold this? In this case, you give all the baggage to Ishvara. Everything. Make Ishvara the coolie. Okay? Carry this. Carry this also. Take this also. I can't handle this. Take this also. So the kartritvam is given to Ishvara because I don't know what to do with it, and if I hold it, it's like a hot potato. It's going to burn me. So the doership is given to Ishvara, and then I am free. And then whatever comes as a result of action is taken as a prasad coming from Ishvara. So in Vyavaharika Satta only, in Vyavaharika Satta means everyday reality, this is what we are practicing. This is what is advised to practice. Not that in the everyday reality I am Karta and then suddenly when the knowledge dawns I stop becoming Karta. No. Gradual. There is a gradual growth, a gradual clarity. The dawning of clarity is a process, and this is a step-by-step process. It is very difficult to give up doership because you don't know what that looks like. But it's easy to give it up to Bhagavan. So let Bhagavan be front and center in the practice of Karma Yoga. Doership is given up. And when doership is given up, then what happens? Then one is free. Free while doing Karma Yoga, one is free. That's what it is. So, even from the Vyavaharika level, you are not the Karta. Paramarthika level also, you are not the Karta. Kartritvam does not touch the Atma. Same person is asking same, different questions. Many part questions. Yeah, so here, let's see. Yeah, that one is different. Okay. Right way to study. Is it right to say we accept the study, we don't do the study? Yes. So we learn words, names and forms only so much as they help us accept what is, and accepting what is the study. Yes. The doing study only keeps our mind occupied and directed till we accept. Yes, I don't have a problem with that. But there is a hesitation. Why? Doing study keeps our mind occupied and directed until we accept. Actually, the study it guides. Because of the study, one accepts. Because of being exposed to Vedanta, one accepts. This is an important question. These are all very important observations. So, the operation of the means of knowledge which does not belong to me. Because it belongs, what is the means of knowledge? Upanishads, handled by a teacher. And so, this is very different from eyes. Who handles the eyes? Who? Me. Don't say teacher, okay? Who handles the ears? Me. Who handles the inference? Me. So the ahankara is very famous in the body-mind-sense complex as pramata. Pramata means knower. Me. I'm the knower. I'm in charge. I'm in control. And suddenly this means of knowledge coming. And it's not only there is a tour, but there is a tour guide, which I never asked for. This guru, this teacher. And so the ahankara, the I notion, the ego, has a lot of problems with this setup. It has to sit quietly and listen. When has it done that? Never in its whole life. Because it is never short of words and it always has something to say. It has an opinion about everything. And it wants to be in charge of producing this knowledge. And so that is why you don't study the Upanishad. You allow the Upanishad to operate upon you. Adi Shankara himself cautions this. Shastragyopi, meaning even if one is a Shastragya, means the one who knows Sanskrit and has studied the Shastra. Not the meaning, but understands how to read and all this Sanskrit and knows the meaning. Shastragyopi swatantriyena, by oneself, brahmanveshanam na kuryat. May one not do a research on Brahman. If you research on Brahman and write a PhD thesis, what will it look like? How many times the word Brahman comes in each Upanishad? It will be like writing a concordance, which is useful. But it is not going to give self-knowledge. Any kind of research is useful. But we generally divide the knowledge into apara, non-ultimate, relative knowledge. Again, here the ahankara is very happy with apara knowledge, apara vidya, because it can still be in charge. They include all branches of knowledge. And paravidya is the other knowledge, which means the ultimate, the absolute. Paravidya is the knowledge of the knower. That is paravidya. How is the knower going to know himself, herself? Not possible. The knowledge has to, the agent of knowledge cannot be the object of knowledge. That makes no sense. Who is the knower? Me. Who is the known? Me. How can the two be the same? Especially when there is self-ignorance. So if I ask the question to myself, who am I? Who am I? Answer will come, donkey. Because that's what I was called when I was small. By everybody. Idiot, donkey, monkey. This is what the answer will come. Satchidananda will not come as the answer. Why? Because who is asking the question? The one who knows or the one who doesn't know? The one who doesn't know. So all kinds of funny answers will come based on the time of day and how one is feeling. And so therefore, the study is, it's like undergoing surgery. You go under. That's really what it is. So, the first thing the surgeon does is put you in anesthesia. Anesthesia benefits the patient, no doubt, because the patient doesn't feel anxiety, pain, nothing. And when they come out of anesthesia, everything is all done. Wonderful. But the anesthesia definitely makes it easier for the doctor also. The surgeon doesn't have to be confronted with questions like, are you sure you are using the correct size of the scalpel? Are you sure you are cutting in the right place? Double check. If supposing the patient kept interfering like this in the surgery, will the surgery be successful? Absolutely not. Because the patient is not the expert. So the patient cannot be impatient about this. The patient has to be anesthetized, and then the doctor, who is the surgeon, who is an expert, will excise the tumor, and then after that the patient recovers. This is how it is, even in the Shastra. And so, what is that? That's why in the class also we have anesthesia. Really? Where is the anesthesia? Those are the small jokes. That's the anesthesia. People relax. One is not always tense. Oh my God, I want moksha, I want moksha. Moksha, where is moksha, 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 moksha? Already 5 days of the camp over, where is moksha, moksha, moksha? All tense and bundled up, bunch of nerves. It's nice to relax. Nice to just let that guard go. Does this one have moksha, that one have moksha? I'm the only one who doesn't have moksha. All this interferes in the transmission. So the anesthesia is more like a laughing gas here. You just laugh. You just relax. You listen to stories of Pujya Swamiji and Pujya Swamiji's jokes and everything. You relax. And then Operation Ajnanam begins. Ajnanam is like a tumor. It has to go. It has to be excised completely. And then, it's a very, anadi, old tumor without a beginning. So sometimes one is attached to the tumor, literally and figuratively. One is very fond of it because one doesn't know how one will live without it. So slowly, 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 piece by piece it is taken out. 9/10 of the knowledge is removal of ajnanam, really, because the Atma is self-shining. It's as though covered by this non-understanding and wrong understanding. The wrong understanding removed, it already is Satchidananda. Most of the problems are gone. So this, accepting this means of knowledge, that this is the only way. Just like surgery, you can get a second opinion, you can get a third opinion, you can do all kinds of things. And Pujya Swamiji used to tell this joke when I said second opinion, I remembered. So there were 3 patients who were given a terminal diagnosis by the doctor. First one said, "Oh, that's too bad. So is there something I can do to make you more comfortable?" The doctor said. "I would like to see some religious person, pastor, priest." Okay, that wish was granted. Priest was brought. Second one said, "I just want some time to just meditate and pray without all these medical people coming and all these things." That too was granted. Okay, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, you can just pray. Third one was also asked the same question. Is there something you would like? And the third one said, "I would like another doctor." So, you can get many opinions. You can say, okay, can Atma Ajnanam be driven away by any other method? Take your time, think about it. Run up and down a mountain and see if that helps in either making the decision or understanding that that's not the way to get moksha. Either way, it will be useful, doesn't matter. Get a second opinion. Go to various teachers, go and see. Do all that. But one cannot be permanently open. That doesn't make any sense. At some point, a decision has to be made. It's like buying a mirror. When you go to the shop, you look at yourself in the mirror shop. What are you doing? Are you admiring yourself? Yes? Talk to me after the satsang. You are not admiring yourself. You are sizing up the mirror. You are testing the mirror. Then you bring it home and then you hang it in your house, and then what are you doing when you stand in front of it? Are you still, then you are admiring yourself. You are not still testing the mirror. That's how it is. Shastra is a mirror. You test as much as you want, but you can't be permanently testing life after life after life. That will make you testy, angry, impatient, annoyed, with yourself mostly. You have to make a decision, because the decision is very clear that Atma Ajnanam is the problem. Sorrow, fear are broods, children of self-ignorance, and so self-ignorance has to be removed by what? Self-knowledge. That has to be understood without a shadow of doubt. And then the way to remove this is through the means of knowledge coming from outside oneself, because I and my own thinking is part of the problem. My own infrastructure in which I have believed is part of the problem. That has to be somehow cut. That connection has to be cut. So the pramana handled by a teacher has to be understood. This is the method. And this is what has to, the surrender is not to a person, it is to the pramana. It is to the means of knowledge that is going to free me in the form of the Upanishad. Since the Upanishad is carried through through a teacher, the teacher accepts the surrender in an interim way on behalf of Ishvara, on behalf of the Shastra, on behalf of the Pramana. That is what it is. If this is understood, then there should be no problem at all. Otherwise, if this is not understood, one is either constantly wringing their hands and wondering what to do, where to go, what to do, or one is, throwing the ball back into the court instead of catching it. In fact, you don't catch the Upanishad, it catches you. You allow to be caught. That is what being taught means. Yeah, so a very nice one, important. Then this one, maybe it's a two-part question or it's another one. Maybe it's another. Well, when we read it, we'll know. Will you say more about allowing the autobiography to perform? No, to transform. Autobiography, yes, yeah. Okay, is it always working with both sides of the equation? Pulling back the mix-up and this is a different question. It's not connected to that. Okay, now that's clear. Let us read it properly. Is it always working both sides of the equation? Samhata, asamhata. Pulling back the mix-up and contemplating of the nature of I, working both sides at the same time. You can't work both sides of the equation at the same time. This is clear in how the Upanishads present Ishvara, Jiva, and then the connections between them. So, and also the Vedanta texts. That being said, some Vedanta texts are Tat Pada heavy, meaning they are Ishvara oriented. They are more interested in unfolding what Ishvara is, etc., etc. They do talk about Tvam, but that's not the primary focus. Certain other texts are Tvam Pada heavy. And then Tat Pada comes later. Some are equal, give equal weight to both sides of the equation, but you can't work on it at the same time. First generally first you understand the truth of yourself and link, and then you understand the truth of Ishvara and link the two as Chaitanya, consciousness. That is generally the regular way of going about that. Yeah, so pulling back the mix-up, contemplating on the nature of the I, that is Tvam-pada Vichara. Then after doing that, you put that aside and then do the same thing. You look at Ishvara and see what is that constitutes, unveil this concept of Ishvara from the ascribed causality and functions connected to the Jagat, and then look at that, the truth, the content of Ishvara is the same as the content of the I. Then finally, what is Nididhyasana? It is coming from the root dhyai, to meditate. Nididhyasana is a kind of a meditation which is done after the study, that too if needed. Nididhyasana or contemplation does not produce knowledge. Knowledge happens only in Shravanam, listening to the Pramana unfolded. That is the only place where knowledge takes place. And if Shravanam is enough, one can, like the students of the Upanishad, get up, do namaskar and go away, never to be seen again. But that's because the Upanishad has ideal type students known as Uttama Adhikarinaha. Shvetaketu only required 9 classes to study, and before he got it, only 9 classes. And in Kali Yuga, even 9,999 classes are also not enough, at the end of which the person says, am I Jiva or am I Ishvara? So this is the Adhikari Bheda. So the Shravanam is the Mukhya sadhana and only sadhana, only thing that gives knowledge. Then if Shravanam is enough, then Mananam or meditation, asking questions, thinking about it, discussing the Vastu, the truth of oneself with others, coming up with questions, thinking about it oneself is not needed. But if there are questions, Mananam is the next stage, it's needed. Nididhyasanam, what it does, it dispels habitual orientations. I know I am Brahman, but I get sad. I know this is what Narada said to Sanat Kumara. Soham Bhagavaha. Soham? Oh, Soham means Ishvara. Saham. No. Soham here means ho-hum. Okay, I'm a boring person. I have all these questions and I have all these problems. And Soham Bhagavaha Shojami. I'm a very erudite person and I'm still subject to sorrow. Please take me to the other side of sorrow. So, that sorrow and all, if it is there even after knowledge, there are questions, there is sorrow, I find that I am not behaving as though I have this knowledge. Jivatvam or jivahood slinks in the behavior. I know, but it slinks into the behavior. It slinks into the conversation because of old habits. So these old habits are dispensed with by contemplating repeatedly upon the nature of the I as Brahman, through looking at the words of the Shastra which one already knows. And this is what helps with owning up, assimilating the knowledge. And in fact, the Shastra says, in Nididhyasanam kalam naya nirantaram. Keep doing it. And one is not supposed to ask the question, how long should I do Nididhyasanam? Nobody says, like for example, nobody asks the question, how long should I be on vacation? Nididhyasanam is like a vacation. Nobody says how long I should be on vacation. You be on vacation all the time. You love to be on vacation. How long should I be in retirement? Nobody asks that. One has been waiting all life for retirement. So Nididhyasanam is not a chore. It's pleasant. It's reveling in the truth of oneself, which is delightful. But again, if one is a Uttama Adhikari, the kind of student in the Upanishad, neither Mananam nor Nididhyasanam is necessary. But if one is what is that called? Adhama Adhikari, means the opposite of the ideal type student, non-ideal type student, a terrible student, then that is, We don't even have a conversation because such a student doesn't even exist except in books, just to make a point. The Uttama Adhikari and the Adhama Adhikari both exist as ideal types of two ends of the continuum in the Shastra books. The rest of the people are somewhere along the continuum and come under the epithet Madhyama Adhikari, middle. Little bit of preparation alongside a few complaints. This is how most people are. So the preparation is gained along with the teaching. That's the idea. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.